Hi, I'm Vicky Widdings. I qualified as a careers advisor back in 2003, so I've got the postgraduate diploma in careers guidance. I've worked in the Connections Service, I've worked in lots of schools and lots of organisations, the NHS, Children's Social Care, but all working with families and young people and all around kind of getting them to make good transitions, good decisions and have happy and successful futures. It's really important to me that we really invest in the careers education and careers guidance in our schools all across the UK, and that every young person has access to the support they need to make good choices and, as I say, to go on to make the right choice for them. And so part of that is about making some short video clips and hopefully some assemblies and things that you can use in tutor time and in assemblies in the future to help all young people have access to some of the top tips that I found over my kind of 15 years of experience working with young people that will hopefully help them and help teachers as well to embed careers in their subject areas and to understand actually how important it is. I'm starting with looking at personal guidance because that's really important and often really misunderstood, and I don't think that it's an easy thing to explain to someone actually what careers guidance is, and yet it's happening in lots of schools across the UK in little classrooms and little rooms. And I just wanted to open it up a little bit because I tried to find some examples recently of careers guidance appointments for my own learning and development, because it can be quite an isolating role as a careers leader or a careers advisor, because there's only one of you in the school, so there's not so many kind of people to feed off and share ideas with and find out about best practice. And I really struggled to find good clips, so I thought I would start by making a few clips of my own guidance practice to share with other people and to start that open dialogue about careers and guidance and what it means and what the impact can be on our young people. I really do believe that good careers guidance and good careers education hand in hand will make a positive impact across the UK and will really genuinely change and transform lives. So I'm not saying that my interview that you're going to see is an outstanding practice, but what I am going to say is that it's the work that I do day in, day out. I probably have picked up some bad habits like we all do along the way, but hopefully it will give some idea of the structure and the skills that are required to deliver careers guidance effectively, and hopefully it will contribute towards that wider debate about the importance of careers guidance and careers education in the UK at the moment. So thank you for taking the time to listen to it. Hi Charlotte, thank you for coming to see me. Your tutor said that you might want to have a careers appointment. Do you know what a careers appointment is? Have you heard of that before?
Not really, no.
What do you think we might do?
Talk about jobs or something like that?
Yeah, that's part of it. So part of it, obviously you're only in year 8, so part of it today might be looking at your option choices. It might be finding out about certain jobs. Your tutor said you were interested in medicine or something like that, is that right?
Yeah, ever since I was little I used to love playing with stuff like that, and the idea of becoming a doctor has always been something that appealed to me.
Okay, so we might look at that too. We've got about 45 minutes, so what we'll be doing is kind of using the time the best way possible for you. So you've mentioned about medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything particular that you'd like me to help you find out about medicine?
What about work experience? Some people at school were talking about it.
Okay, so work experience is one thing. What else? Is there anything else that you particularly want to know about?
Money.
Money, okay.
Yeah.
We can look at that. We can look at that too. And then I mentioned maybe the option choices. Is it helpful to perhaps look at that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, should be.
Okay, so options as well.
I don't quite understand what they really are.
Okay, so we can look at what they are as well. So, have you heard of anyone else having a careers appointment in school? Have you seen me around or anything?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so usually I do see a lot of the students older, but every now and then if I'm asked to see a student younger, obviously I will do. The sessions that we have are confidential. Do you know what that means?
No.
Okay, have you ever heard of the word before?
Not really.
Okay, so it means that what we talk about is going to stay within this room, apart from obviously if you said anything that might be about you being at risk or anyone else being at risk, I'd have to discuss that with your teachers.
Mm-hmm.
What I will do is I will write some notes down just so we can remember and keep track and make sure that I meet what we've agreed you want to talk about. And I'll give you an action plan as well, which will kind of have some pointers that will hopefully record some of the things we've talked about. and also maybe give you a few things to do to take away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I might share that action plan with other people. That's something we can discuss about. So if you're happy, we could share that back with your tutor.
Yeah.
And we could share that with your parents as well if you think that would be helpful. Are you happy with that, or would you rather it stay just between you and me?
I don't mind, really.
You don't mind, okay. So parents and tutors, would that be good? Is there anybody else that you think might be helpful for you to know what we talk about and help you in sort of your career planning in any way?
No, I think that's okay. That's enough.
Okay. Right, so we will get to that bit in the action plan a bit at the end. So let's have a look at you. So I'm just writing your name in the middle of my sheet of paper.
Okay.
What can you tell me about you? So I know you're in year 8.
Yeah.
And we know obviously that there's a bit of interest in medicine. Can you tell me a bit more about other things in school that you're interested in?
I like science.
Okay, well that's very helpful.
Yeah, that is helpful.
Is that your favourite subject in school?
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
And are you kind of taught in the separate subjects like the chemistry, physics and biology, or
It's
not,
kind of
not
a
so
mixture,
much?
to be honest.
So it's all mixed up a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, are there certain topics that you've liked more than others?
Some bits I have, like I enjoy looking about the human body.
Okay, and what other subjects have you liked? What
I
are the other favourites?
quite like maths.
Okay. And is there a particular bit of maths that you enjoy?
Just like maths, it's fun.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. That's really good to hear. That's nice. What about other subjects then? Are there other subjects that you enjoy or you find easy, or?
History. I've
Okay.
always liked history too.
Is there a particular bit of that?
I love the Tudors.
Okay, tutors. What about subjects that you find perhaps not so easy or that you don't enjoy as much?
I don't really like geography that much.
Why is that?
It's just I don't really understand. I get it, but I just don't think I really need geography.
Okay. And any other subjects that you don't particularly enjoy?
I don't think so. I think it's just geography, to be honest.
Okay. And how do you feel about school at the moment overall?
I like school. Yeah.
Yeah?
I've got some good friends, and
Tell me about your friends.
what about them?
What subjects do they enjoy? What kinds of things do you do together? Do you have any hobbies or interests and things?
Both of my friends like kayaking.
Okay.
So
Is that something that you do?
yeah,
Where do you do that?
down at Hengistbury.
Oh, lovely. That's really nice. And how often do you go to that?
Once a week in the summer.
Okay. And are there any other hobbies or interests that you have?
I like TV.
TV? Okay. And what's your favourite TV programme?
Friends, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, any others?
I always like hospital documentaries and things.
Can you tell me about any that you've seen recently, hospital documentaries?
There's one on BBC, which is the ambulance,
Mm.
which is good.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So we've had a little chat about school. It seems like you enjoy school and your favourite subjects are those science and maths. But I get the impression that you quite like most of the subjects, and the only one that you
Yeah.
were saying you perhaps weren't so sure about was geography.
Yeah, and music as well.
Yeah.
Music is just don't really
Okay.
don't
So
really
we'll get
get
to
on
another
with
one perhaps to add to that.
Sorry.
Aside from sort of the lessons and things, how do you find the actual sort of being at school, the way you're taught, the teaching side of things? Do you?
Some teachers, I like the way they teach more than others because they kind of teach in a way that I get it, and then some just don't really.
Okay, and do you know how you learn best? Have you got like what kinds of things do teachers do in terms of learning that works for you?
When they I quite like when you have like a sheet and you go around the classroom finding out information and things.
Okay, so that kind of inquisitive
Yeah.
and curiosity in learning you've got.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good to hear. Okay, what would you prefer that we do first? That we look at the medicine bit and more information or the options?
the options, I think.
Okay, that kind
Because
of
they're
makes
coming up soon. aren't
logical
they?
sense,
They're
doesn't
more-
it? So do you know how many you can choose?
No.
Okay. So there'll be a certain number of subjects that you will have to do. So do you know what they might be? Those ones that you don't get a choice over?
English, maths, and science.
Yeah, and PE. So you have to do those.
No.
It's not PE. Okay, but you do. Yeah, you do have to do a certain amount of PE. So there are certain subjects you have to choose, and then you will get some options. But your school will prepare you for that, and they'll probably give you some sort of table that will have what we call option blocks. Have you heard of that before?
No.
So it will have in it like a list of subjects that you can pick one, and you have to pick one from each of the boxes. So you'd have to look at that and then assess which one you think you prefer. Could you put outside of English, maths and science, could you list your top 5 subjects after that in order?
I could try.
Okay, let's try it. Let's try and get your 5. We can always reorder it again if we need to. So I've got 5 things here, and then we can put the numbers by it. So tell me your favourite subjects.
So, history.
Yeah.
Quite like drama.
Yeah.
And technology is quite good.
Which bit of the technology? Because that.
I quite like textiles, making stuff.
So textiles, maybe. Okay. What others?
Just trying to think. Spanish, definitely. Yeah.
Spanish, that's a definite. Is there any more? What about religious studies?
Oh yeah, definitely. I love RE. It's really good fun.
Okay. So potentially it could be these subjects plus your English, maths and science. Now, if you had to put them in order, what would you do?
Probably history is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Then RE. Then Spanish.
So I'll type all this up into something that actually makes proper sense at the end and email it you. But when you get those options blocks, it might be worth just referring back to this. Obviously things change. You've got a bit of time between now and then, and there'll be a lot of input from your teachers. But it'd be worth you perhaps revisiting this and just looking if those 5 fit across. And if it doesn't fit or you're confused about it, then you can always, obviously chat to your teachers and parents and stuff first, but then come back and see me and we can have a look at that, okay?
Yeah.
What subjects do you think it's most important that for medicine you would do you
I
think?
think science is important, but I don't really know the others.
Any particular one of the sciences that we talked about there?
Biology and chemistry, I think, are my favourite parts of science.
Yeah, it is the biology and chemistry actually that are the most important. So physics is, and then maths it can be really useful as well. So the sort of best combination probably is those. Do you know what would happen? What happens when you kind of leave school in terms of what your options are then?
Not overly.
No.
Some people have said about university and things, but
Yeah.
I don't really understand them.
Okay. So you've got some choices at what we call post-16, so after year 11, after your GCSEs. So after you do your options and you work all your way through and you sit your exams, you've got some options then about either, locally we've got quite a lot of colleges, or you could choose to stay on at your sixth form at your school, or choose to go to another sixth form and probably do something called A-levels. Have you heard of those?
Were they more tests or something?
Well, they're 2 years of study, and they do involve tests at the end of it, so it does involve you having to be quite good at remembering quite a lot of information and then recalling it back in exams, which is why when I was asking you about like how you learn and things, that's sort of how you feel about tests, because they are quite academic, but you would need to be doing those for medicine, so you'd be looking kind of 2 years worth of study, and then the university which you mentioned, which obviously you would need to do to be a doctor. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That will come after. Okay.
How long do I have to go to the university for?
It's quite a while because it takes quite a long time to qualify, and then it takes some time. So you could be looking at probably somewhere between 5 to 7 years before you're kind of properly.
Okay, that's a long time.
Qualified. It is, yeah. So it is important actually that, and what's really nice about us meeting as early as you are now, it gives you lots of time to really think about whether that is the right thing for you and get yourself in a position where you are ready if you're happy after you've done your research that it is. Okay. One of the things I think it might be useful to do if you haven't done it already Have you ever heard of anything called the buzz quiz?
No.
No? Okay, so it's a little kind of activity online, and it's on a program called I Could. It's a free one, so you can access it anytime. But it would be useful just to. It looks at kind of what your strengths are, what your personality is like, and it does it in like a really easy way. And I just think it might help us sort of see if some of the qualities we think that you might need for some of the jobs you're interested in actually are useful. So I'm going to pass it towards you. But if we can do it, so I'm going to move myself around a little bit just so I can see the answers too, so we'll get a bit of a feel for it. Alright, so if you just have a think about what you do that. So this one's, where do you gain your energy from? Click back into it. Yeah. That's it. So then you just click on the
What best in groups?
So compare each of the 5 statements in turn and click on the options that are most like you. So really think about your personal preference and when you're at home as well as at school. So what things are most like you?
I think before I speak.
Okay.
Try to be careful.
I'm
a good listener.
Yeah.
I definitely like to blend in. And then I tend to work best in groups.
Okay, is there anything else on the left side?
Not really.
Okay, so go down to can you scroll down?
Yeah.
Right, and go next question. So this is about how you take in information. Okay.
Oh, okay. I like learning new things. I like facts and stuff.
Yeah.
I look for patterns and stuff. I do like to be a bit more methodical.
It's a good word. Okay, if you're happy with that, we'll get the next question. So this is about how you decide things. So if you think with your head or your heart, have you ever heard people say that before? So it's sort of about how you're motivated.
Okay. I generally follow what I believe and what I trust it. I do ask how will affect people. I like criticism because it gives you some room to improve.
Which is very mature. And this last question, so it's a very quick, just little exercise to do.
I do like to be organised.
Yeah. This is your attitude to life. So, do you know what the word spontaneous means?
No.
So, spontaneous means doing things quickly without thinking, whereas planned is someone thinking about things before they do them all.
I like writing lists. Definitely like finishing something.
Okay. Any more?
Oh, that looks tidy.
Okay. Let's go down. And then you are A, and it's going to compare you to an animal. It's going to tell you some things about yourself.
Okay.
And you get to read it and see if you feel you are a seahorse or not. So your motto is, let's think about it. So 2% of the UK population are seahorses, so you're very rare.
I'm rare.
So have a read about that and see if that resonates with you, that if you think that sounds like you might be a seahorse. never had a sea horse before, and I've done this quite a lot of times. Okay. So, how do you think about when you read that? Does that sound like you?
Yeah, it does.
It does. Okay, so what qualities in there? Are there any qualities in there that surprised you about yourself, or were you aware of those things?
They can be clingy toddlers.
Clingy toddlers. Okay. Anything else?
They didn't really. They can inspire people.
Okay. And do you know what that means? To inspire people?
Like make people feel. I don't really know how to explain it.
Okay. Have a try.
They can get people to want to do something when they're make them think.
So maybe motivate people. Maybe be a leader that shows people and sets examples. That would sound sort of
yeah.
And what are the top tips?
Don't live inside your head. That's actually really true.
Okay, so to talk to others and share ideas more. Okay. And do you think those kinds of qualities would be needed as a doctor?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Are you happy that we've looked at your options and you feel kind of like you know where you're at with that when the time comes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So shall we talk a bit more about the medicine thing then?
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
So you can you tell me what you think a typical day as a doctor might be like?
Like helping people.
Yeah.
Making them feel like better when they're poorly.
Yeah.
They have to really care about people as well.
Yeah. What other kinds of skills and qualities might they need?
Oh, they need they need to like be persistent and keep going.
Keep going, yeah.
Yeah.
It can be quite a tough job, can't it?
Yeah.
Long hours, do you think?
Yeah.
Shift work, maybe?
Ridiculous, isn't it?
How would you feel about that sort of thing?
I think it'd be okay.
Okay. And how much research have you done into medicine, really?
Not very much, to be honest. I just knew I really wanted to be a doctor.
Okay, I can show you again the best. I mean, because you are so young, and there's still a long time really until you actually are going to be in a position to can move forward, and things could change. So everything that we talk about that's sort of about the future, obviously routes into jobs change all the time. But the best website is this one, which is the Health Careers in the NHS one.
Okay.
And so they've got lots of sections on here that would be worth, perhaps over the holidays, maybe you just have a little bit of look on it. And the one thing I would say is to really look at exploring all the roles, because
there's quite a lot, isn't there?
There's a lot of different roles. There's hundreds of roles in the NHS alone in terms of medicine and helping people. And most people, what do you think are the main jobs that people think about when they think about the NHS?
Well, doctor, nurse, paramedic.
Yeah, maybe those three, but there's a lot more. So if you have a look down, so if we just look at the ambulance one, for example.
There's loads,
yeah.
Imagine there was so many just for one.
So there's a lot of different ones. And if we look at doctor as well, there's obviously lots of different types of doctor. And they all have quite different as it goes on.
Well, it keeps going?
Yeah, because you specialise in a different area.
Okay.
So there's lots that you can research when the time is right and decide whether actually you might discover another type of job role that you've never heard of before. I mean, I don't know if you thought about being an optician or...
never really.
You ever heard of anything called occupational health?
No.
They kind of meet and help people to, after they've had operations, or maybe if they've been poorly, to kind of get back to their normal life. So, but there's lots and lots of jobs on here, so it would be worth you having a look at this one. And then the other website that would be really useful for you, I should write one down. I'll say you'll get all of this in the action plan as well. Have you actually heard of the National Career Service?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so the National Career Service, what do you think it might be? Clue is sort of in the name.
Website or thing about careers.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, one bit of it is a website, but the other really nice bit is they've got careers advisors that you can contact when you want to out of time, so they can do it by text or by web chat, 8 till 10, 7 days a week. So you can, if you have a burning question in the future and you can't get hold of somebody or you can't find me in school or whatever, then you can obviously look on this and get a question answered. The bits that I'll show you that are useful is, so you could put any job title in here. So obviously we'll put occupational health in actually, because you didn't know so much about that one. And let's hope it's there. There it is. Okay, so an occupational therapist is here. And so you mentioned about salaries being important to you, and this website's really good for that. So it says your average salary.
Wow.
So it says a starting salary and then an experienced salary and the kind of hours you'd work. So if you didn't want to do shift work but you still wanted to find a job that was helping people, then you could do some research and find lots of other different ones. It tells you how to become it and what you'd need to do. So this is 2 to 3 A levels for a degree, and then
this is really helpful
in a relevant subject.
See what you needed to become these jobs.
Yeah, and there's lots of other different routes in. I mean, you mentioned nurse. Have you thought about nursing at all?
No, not overly.
Yeah. So I mean, there is actually an apprenticeship route into nursing. Do you know what I mean by apprenticeship?
I don't know very much about careers.
That's fine. So you know I said about those options you've got post 16. So remember after the exams after your GCSEs, you've got the college option. You've got 6th form option where you could do A levels. There's lots of other vocational. Now vocational just means like jobs basically. So like if you want to work in health and social care and you wanted to go and get a job when you leave school, you have to do some sort of training. You can't just leave and get any old job. But an apprenticeship usually is when you have like 4 days a week working and 1 day a week of college, and you kind of learn the theory behind what you're doing in that job the 4 days a week. So you can actually do a higher apprenticeship in nursing. So after you've done those A levels or those BTEC, instead of going to university, you could qualify as a nurse without going to university. So there are some advantages to that. Can you imagine what that might be?
Well, it gives you a chance to do some work and have money.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So you get paid for it, which is obviously a bonus for a lot of people. You don't get the student debt as well. So I mean, again,
becoming a doctor can be quite expensive.
Yeah, as I say, it's a long period of study. So let's just look at the doctor one here, just as a comparison in terms of the salaries, because you said you wanted to know the salary. Okay, so as a general practitioner, do you know what that means? The general practitioner.
No.
That's the doctor that you would see when you book an appointment at your surgery. So not the sort you'd see in a hospital, but the sort that are in the hospital surgeries.
When you go in.
So here's your average salary is 37,000.
They earn a lot.
And it goes up to 87,000, but it's a lot of hours. So it was more hours than the one we looked at before, and you could have to work evenings and weekends. So you would have to think about that. So here's your routine. So as I said before, so you have your it's a lot of fun. So you've got your 5-year degree in medicine, then a 2-year foundation course of general training, and then a 3-year specialist training course in general practice. So
okay.
You know, it says here you might be able to do a 6-year degree course in medicine if you haven't got a science qualification, but I don't think there's much point in us going too much further down into looking at this at the moment, because you're still very young. But it would be worth you just having a little look in the future. And I say, and you know, certainly you can look at the NHS site, and it's got the site we were on before, the I Could one, which had the buzz quiz on, they've got some videos of people talking about their jobs, so you might manage to find like a midwife or a nurse or somebody or a doctor actually talking about their job role, which might help you get a better idea for all those different kinds of jobs that are out there and actually what's involved, because sometimes the name of them doesn't necessarily help you to know whether that's a job you'd enjoy or not.
I've also been interested in midwifery and delivering babies, because that's always seen as it's one of the most amazing things you can do is deliver someone's baby, isn't it?
So there's lots of video clips here on medicine, and if I go back up and change it to midwife,
so is this website free?
Yeah, so all of these have been free, So then there's careers in the NHS one there. you'd just be able to look at that. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it also tells you other jobs that you might like. So if you like the job, then there's your occupational therapy one, your learning disabilities, and there's all sorts of other different roles there as well that you can find. Okay.
So the animal, was that
Yeah. So
depending on the jobs?
this is saying that a lot of tawny owls do this job.
Of course.
So I think we can see if it matches you to different things. But yeah, it's a good site for just playing around with. So if I go back to what we kind of looked at the start, and you said you wanted to have a look at the money in medicine. Do you feel like we've done that?
Yeah.
And we've had a look at the options.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So the thing that we haven't answered then, I think, is the work experience.
Yeah.
So tell me what you do know about that.
So isn't it when you, in like year 10, you do like a week at some place or job, and then you try and see if that would be your kind of idea?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Like it.
yeah, you're right. It's a chance to try something out. So you can't go into a hospital at the age you are in year 10, but when you're over, I think it's 17, the local hospitals here do their own application process for it. So as you get older, you will be able to do that. But you're right to think about work experience, because actually for all the kinds of careers you're talking about, volunteering and work experience and all those things is really, really important. So you could look at doing work experience something similar. Can you think of what might help to go and try something out as a work experience?
Maybe you could do a care home or something.
Yeah, care home would be good. Even a doctor's surgery where you perhaps can be on the, you're obviously not going to be able to go into the treatment rooms, but you can be on reception, so you can see people coming in and out. That can be helpful. Even something like a nursery, or particularly if you're thinking the midwifery side of things, trying to explore kind of whether you like working with children in that way. That might be helpful. Yeah. Does your school do work experience as an organised thing? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we can find out about whether they'll be doing it for your year group or not. But if not, it might be something you have to think about doing in your own time.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Maybe asking at your own doctors, or trying to get as much experience as possible. Yeah. Okay, does that sound all right?
Yeah.
But I can also check about the work experience in school, and see if there's anything else that we can do. So, is there anything else that you think would be useful for us to discuss that we haven't?
With work experience, like how long is it?
Well, if you're doing it in school, it depends what school sets. So a lot of schools set it as a week, usually in the kind of year that you're talking about, like year 10. Some will do it longer in sixth form, and certainly if you are really serious about medicine, by the time you get to a sixth form, you'll probably be looking at more sustained. Do you know what I mean by that? So where you do it's a big one. So maybe once a week. So going to the same care home or going to the same clinic or something. So you get that regular work experience, as well as perhaps some experience of going into a hospital. So it could really be as little or as long as you like, but they will want you to be able to have some experience of what it might be like to work in those kinds of areas, and to communicate with people from all sorts of different backgrounds and challenges. Is there anything that you think you would find difficult about medicine?
Well, the sad part when you do lose patients and things, I think would be pretty
You've got to be
hard.
You've got to be resilient, haven't you? Heard that word before? So you've got to be quite strong in your emotions, and it is a lot of work. So you've got to really want it, because it is a lot of work, and it's academically probably one of the harder jobs to get into in terms of being good at those exams and getting that those really high grades. So definitely something to do a bit of research on and totally aim for. Yeah. But also, be sure that it is the right thing for you. Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm going to write this all up into a proper action plan. Okay. Email it to your parents and tutors. But before we kind of finish and wrap it up, can you tell me what we've talked about today in a summary to help my notes?
So we looked at medicine and how how it's important and how that I know that it's the right thing to do. With a work experience and how there are different types and ones I can do. And unfortunately, I can't be a doctor for work experience.
No, not yet. But it could come. Yeah.
And then we looked at money, which is always important, and the hours that you have to work.
Yeah.
And like what my favourite lessons are. So I'll see how that helps with things.
Okay. It's good you've remembered a lot of it. Well done. Can you tell me 2 things that you've learnt from chatting with me today that you didn't know before?
Quite a lot about work experience and like how I can tick my options and what they are, because I actually didn't know what they were before today.
Okay, so that's good to know. So right, now we need to start looking at this action plan. So looking at things that you're going to do that are going to help you.
Can you write down the names of the websites, please?
Yeah. So I think that's probably, which of those websites do you think you'd find the most useful to use first?
Probably both of them, I think. I think they were both helpful.
Which ones do you mean by both? Because I showed you more than 2.
The one where it made me seem an animal.
Okay, so that's I Could. Yeah.
And then the one actually done by the NHS.
Okay. And when do you think you'll be able to do that by? Have a look at those, do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
When do you think that's?
Maybe like I'll try and do it maybe in a week, so it's nearly the holidays, so I might be able to do that on some holidays and look at them.
So do you think if I said that you did it by the Friday of the week back after half term?
Yeah.
Because remember, I'm going to email this to your tutor, so this needs to be something you can do.
Yeah, I can do this.
Okay.
Definitely.
So you're going to do a bit of research on those 2 online. Okay. What else are you going to do?
I'm going to try and think more about the doctor idea and try to just really see if it's really for me, because I don't know.
Okay. Have you spoken to your science teacher about wanting to be a doctor? Do they know?
No, they don't.
No? Do you think that would be useful for them to know?
Yeah.
Because they might be running trips and activities and workshops and things, because there are quite a lot of workshops that happen, and if they know that that's something you're keen on, they might be able to talk you through that, or maybe give you some extra reading on that. So if I put down to speak to your science teacher, when can you do that by?
I see him in a few days, so I can.
So by the end of this week?
Yeah.
Okay. And is there anything else that you think it would be helpful for you to do, or for me to do for you, that we talked about?
How do you do the whole work experience thing? Do you?
Yeah, you're right. I think that's something I will ask about. Because I don't know what the plans are for your year.
Yeah.
So I'll ask about that, and then I'll let you know. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you use your school email?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can email you. And then we can look at whether it's something you need to think about at home, and whether we can help you find that, or whether you're happy to do it completely by yourself. Is there anything else that you think would help?
I think we've covered it.
Okay. So you're happy that we've talked through medicine, we know there's lots of options, you know what the options are now, you know your work experience.
Yeah.
Those are the action points we're going to set. So I'm going to get you to sign them. So as I say, they're going to be going to send them home and to your tutor, so we'll make sure they happen. And you know now as well, just the last point on there is that if you have any questions or you want to come back to me at any time, you've got my email as well. Okay, is that all right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for coming to see me. It's been really lovely to meet you and have a proper chat with you, and you know where I am now if you need me. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye.